Poodle fam, here we are. Wednesday. Oh, I'm a little low. Let me get up a little higher. There we go. We are here. See, that is going, Poodle fam. I've got that one going. Wednesday, June 7. Here we go. Episode 106. 106 in a row. Here we are. This is exciting. Little bit of news. Before I jump into this week's episode, you guys can probably guess where this week's is going anyway, and what I'm going to end up saying about everything. Hey, how's it going, Ike Niger? Yeah, hazy weather in the East Coast. It's still dreary. We've had the worst summer here in LA. Like, it's not fair. I hosted some people from Europe on campus this week, and they were saying, like, some from Belgium and France, and they were like saying how they brought the weather with them. Hey, how's it going, Sasha? That they brought the weather with them out here, because they're like, we rarely rain, but we rained all year here, and they came, from Belgium and France, and they got rain. So I felt bad. You don't want to come to LA and actually have our miserable weather, but that's what they got. Good to see people hopping on. It was lonely last week. Last week was lonely being the only one on. So it's good to see people on this week. So how's it going, Ice Age? Good to see everyone. Jump in, say hi. I know we have we got four. I see it right there. But that's okay, because most people listen later. I know that. It's one of the things about having one of the things from around the world. When you have a great team and a great token and community from around the world, I know that means a lot. So, and not everyone can take it at the time that I do it. So but it is what it is. Last week was not recorded, but that leads to I'm dedicated to not missing a week. But so here's some news, no personal news coming out. So next week I'm in Orlando. In fact, I leave tomorrow morning for Orlando for 10 days. My annual trip there is you go once or twice a year to Orlando. This is a big one. So the time of the show, which would be 11 Eastern, I'll be right in the middle of speaking and stuff. So it will be a pre-record next week, and then the following 3 weeks, I am I'm going into summer hibernation, taking 3 whole weeks in a row off work until after our 4th of July holiday. Back in the office July 10th. So it's almost between my conference that I leave for tomorrow and then all the way back. It's basically 4 weeks till I'm even back on campus. Got some great meetings this week with our esports and NFT stuff. So good, some great news that's going to be coming about some Web3 things that we're going to be hosting, and Poodle will be part of. So that'll be exciting. So the next 4 weeks are actually going to be pre-records. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series. I'm going to do a 4-part series. And I'm starting it this week. Okay, this is just going to set a little bit of a preview of what the next 4 weeks are going to be about. All right, so I'm going to try to do some pre-records only because the 3 weeks I'm taking off, I'm doing for the first time in my life. You ready for this? I'm turning my phone off. I'm turning off all social media. I'm turning off work emails. Everything is being turned off. So you will not see me, hear me, anything about me for that time. And then I'm going to hate life when I turn it on July 10th and see how many billion emails and messages and all that come through. So I'm going to record, I'm going to post in, and you will see them release every week. And I'll pre-do some postings and all that stuff. So there you go. I know I will be monitored, but nope, it's gonna be off. But when I say it's off, here's the thing. So the good thing about having a the little check marky account is I can and I have some social media schedulers. So You know, just because you see me online doesn't mean I'm actually online. I'm gonna do some scheduling of some posts. So even if you see me online, I'm not really online. But doing that for the first time in my life, of actually turning some stuff off. I got the big 50th birthday coming up in about 6 weeks. So first time in my life, I'm gonna turn some stuff off and enjoy some time with the wife and the kids and the boat, and there we go. And maybe a secret location that I'll post later. So that being said, that's how we're doing the next few weeks. Again, next a 4-part series that starts today, so let's call it a 5-part series. Here we go. Title, obviously Binance and the SEC, what it means for investors. I guess I could have retitled this a little bit, because I could have called it Binance and Coinbase. Oh, thank you. 50th. I'm old, I know. Binance and Coinbase and the SEC and what it means for investors. Because on Monday, Binance got hit with a lawsuit, and then yesterday, Coinbase got hit with a lawsuit. So I'll just read some of the titles. These are article titles. CNBC, Binance U.S. clients have $2.2 billion at significant risk after crypto exchange lawsuit. New York Post, Binance and Coinbase CEOs lose billions over SEC lawsuit. NPR, the SEC sues Binance, unveils 13 charges against the crypto exchange. CoinDesk, 1-2 Punch, finally registers SEC view on Binance, Coinbase, and the rest of it. Cointelegraph, SEC lawsuits against Binance and Coinbase unify the crypto industry. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. So, what does that mean for us? All of those things. These lawsuits, should we be worried? I just saw on the Telegram, someone just posted, who was it? Who just posted about losing a year's worth of MATIC growth in one day because of some drop. We've seen a hit. Things have started to go. Right when we saw the bull market coming, hit. Here we go. We get hit again. Interesting thing, a couple of articles here. The CNBC article about, the NPR article about the 13 charges against Binance, and then, of course, a number against Coinbase, all based on one general principle, that they failed to register what they were doing on their platforms with the SEC. Okay, so I think one thing that's important, and we're seeing a big move and a lot of freaking out. All right, there's a lot of people freaking out. There's a lot of people selling. There's a lot of dumping. There's people afraid this is going to be another, FTX, or there's going to be all these things are going to crash. So you're seeing people sell and move their money. I'm going to say in the next few days, we'll probably see a big drop, but also, here's the thing, buying opportunities. So what you're going to see is people who drop, but also the people with a long-term view are going to recognize that it really means very little. And if you look at the charges are about not registering. Okay, they say there's some conflict of interest, deception, lack of disclosure. In other words, they're being run overseas and they're going around the SEC, and U.S. investors are investing, but they're not investing through a U.S. company. They're investing through operations that are being held overseas. Okay, so really, what does it come down to? The United States government wants tax on all this stuff. And as long as it's being run overseas, they can't monitor it. They can't regulate it. They can't tax it. That's really what it means. And that's the gist behind the lawsuits. They're being run off of practices in other countries, right? And that's really where what the SEC doesn't like. So the question is, what does it really mean for us with Coinbase and Binance? In the short run, it means get ready to see some losses. Get ready to see probably a lot of your value drop, which again, the way I look at that, the whole buy the dip idea is buying opportunity if you really think that this is a long-term option. You're going to get a lot of good things cheap. I think if you even look at the price of MATIC at what 77 cents right now or something, I remember when we were first moving over into the launching the pet, it was about $1, so about a 1-to-1 was the rate. Now it's down about 20. Decentralized way forward always was. It was about a 1-to-1, and now we're down. You got a 25% discount on MATIC, which, you know what? Here's the thing: it's going to recover. It's going to take a hit, but this is what happens. This is what happens when big news comes out. Don't freak out about it. We're going to see just in the next couple months it probably grow back up, because one thing that's also behind a lot of these things is consolidation. I've done shows in the past where I've talked about the largest holders of Bitcoin. The single largest holders of Bitcoin are federal governments, large governments, and and finance houses, right? So if you've got finance companies and governments buying all this stuff up, do you think they want to buy it at a high price, or do you think they want to buy it at a low price? They're hoarding, and they're hoarding so that they can be in control later. So just as you sit there and go, oh, well, I can almost guarantee you, don't have the full proof, but I can almost guarantee you that if the SEC files a lawsuit, they know that some things are going to tank. You file a lawsuit against Binance, then BNB is going to tank, right? Which again, the effect on us means that since we're like Poodle token is based on Binance, that means that we're going to take a dip too, right? That's just going to be natural because we're based on their value. However, what do you think is going to happen? The same government that files a lawsuit is also going to be the same government who buys more cheap, who buys in at a much lower price. That's exactly how it works. You're going to see countries like China jump in and buy more crypto. You're going to see other countries, and that's what I really encourage you. Look at where the finance houses throw their money. Are they using this as a buying opportunity? Absolutely they are, right? So the same ones that manipulate saying that people are breaking the law are the same ones that are buying based on the effect of their own actions, okay? And I think that's really important. And most people don't see that. Now, granted, the whole FTX and the whole Sam Bankman, all that stuff, that was awful. That shouldn't have happened. That was mismanagement. That was something that someone who deserves to be in jail, okay, for basically screwing people over, right? However, these are not the case, but the average investor is looking at them the same. They're thinking that because someone is sued by the SEC, that also means they're a crook like the others. And that's not the case. So they're throwing their money out and they're getting out. But in effect, what can the SEC do to Binance and Coinbase that are run overseas? Nothing. They can do absolutely nothing. I think in probably a few months, you might see some type of deal that gives some regulation and some visibility, especially on Binance.us rather than Binance.com or .org, whatever it is. That in order for the SEC to regulate a little bit, which of course runs to taxes, means to follow where the money is going, because here in the U.S., if you have crypto gains you have to pay taxes on it, right? You can write off losses, though. I mean, fairness, you can write off losses if you do sell at a loss. But it's one of those things that's where I think this is going to go. You're going to probably see a little more insight into Coinbase as well. You'll see a little bit of give in. But in fact, it really means nothing because the SEC doesn't have any jurisdiction over a foreign company. What they're upset about is, a huge part of their business is U.S., right? no matter, the fact is the U.S. does drive the world economy. What the U.S. does, everybody else tends to do and follow. And since the majority of crypto holders are in the U.S., as far as kind of more public view, especially with NFT world and kind of those Web3 worlds, it's very U.S. based. So the SEC just wants a piece of it, right? And that's it. And they don't get it when you have decentralized exchanges, right? They just don't. They can't have that regulation. And so this is their attempt into being able to have some oversight there. And that's it. But again, people fear losing everything, so they're selling. I can only encourage you, DCA, DCA, DCA. As I've said all along, continue to buy as you can. This is your opportunity to buy as you can. Because follow the money. This is who's buying right now. The ones that are going to be strong in the future are using this as an opportunity, especially to diversify. I'm going to obviously encourage you to buy Pet and Poodle. But you know what? I mean, gosh, even just looking at the price of MATIC right now, load up, right? Even if you load it up on MATIC right now and held it till you're ready to buy some more Pet or whatever, right? Look at where the values are. That's fine, you know. I'm not going to tell you how to do your investing, but there's huge opportunities right here, right now. So I'm going to encourage you to look not at the fear of the sales. Don't look at what's happening with with the lawsuits. It's just a fear tactic. Another thing, and there was another article. Where was it? About the value. If I can find it. Binance and Coinbase CEOs lose billions over lawsuit. So what was interesting, it said so CZ after the lawsuit lost 1.4 billion in net worth. Okay, 1.4 billion in net worth. He's still worth 26 billion. Okay. That's a little tink. Now, none of us really want to lose 26 billion or want to lose $1.4 billion. I guarantee that. But put it in perspective. It's a small point. It's a small bit. Brian Armstrong, Coinbase's head, lost 361 million. He still sits at 2.2 billion. Okay, these did not wipe out these exchanges. This did not say sorry. Goodbye, you're shut down. That's what's important to recognize. All right. Note there is a future here for these. You just got to hold on strong and note that it's going to come. We've got it. We'll make it through it. So with that, I'm going to set you up with what I'm going to be talking about over the next 4 weeks. I'm going to go back to some education things. And I'm gonna go back because early shows, I know we have a whole different audience than used to listen early on. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna really build up how all this works. Okay, I know a lot of people actually aren't sure exactly what it means, how our tokens are tied together, what it means for value, how money moves in the crypto world, who the big holders are. I'm going to go back to all of that because, again, I think the key is that we want wise investors. And I think when you have that information, you're going to make better choices. You're going to see that little things like this don't mean a lot. Personally, I don't like seeing it. I think we had a good bull run starting, and it sucks to see something like this. But I also think it's going to pull those who are serious about us together. It's going to allow us opportunities to continue to grow our bags, to be able to grow our influence as things get kind of pick up. I hate to see it. Yes, education is key. But the fact is, it's a dent in our bull run going. But again, that's why I want to do the education to people, and I want them to understand how this is actually very curated. Okay, it's no coincidence that as the crypto market starts to pick up, that the SEC does this, and then where the money is going to be buying. So I'm going to show you how to track it. I'm going to explain how the economic system works. Spoiler alert, it's very similar to the normal investment system. However, there are a lot of things that can sway value up and down really quick. So that's what we're going to cover over the next 4 weeks. We're going to do a little bit of that. I'm going to let it grow. We'll see exactly where we get to. More into the education side, which again, I did early on. But that was over 2 years ago. This show's been going on for over 2 years. And I want us to, so I'm going to get back to that, especially for new holders, new, pet people who are now on board that maybe didn't hear a lot of those early episodes. So get ready to get, strap in for some good education, learn how a little bit of this works. I'm always going to pull it back to Poodle. Again, right now, how does this impact us? Poodle is tied to Binance, the BNB, obviously when it goes down. MATIC, Pet is tied to MATIC when that goes down. You've got some movers and shakers. You got fear selling. Okay, it is what it is. Hold on, buy some. It will recover. And here's the thing: when you see a large amount go, it's going to recover fast. All right. When you see people start buying crypto by the millions, and not millions of tokens, but millions of dollars, it's going to go up fast. Okay. So I encourage you to take advantage while you can. Recognize that this means nothing about our token, okay? And I think that's also a good point. Our tokens may be down, but they're down because they are, this is actually probably next episode. When you're tied to the value of another token, right? That's how this works. When you're paired to either BNB or MATIC, your value is dependent upon them. We're built upon those chains, right? So the value of that chain impacts the value of our token, right? It just makes sense. They have to be paired up. So I've said this before, we don't even have to do anything. If the value of the other tokens go up, so do we, right? But vice versa. When they go down, so do we. So if you look at our chart, that's the worst thing you can do right now, because it's going to make you think that something's wrong with our token when it's actually not. Because if you look at the pairing value, they're actually even. The percentage drop is the same, but that's because it's dropped based upon the chain that we're built upon. That's it. It means nothing. It actually means nothing. One of the other episodes I'll get to again is I'll give you a teaser. That also means that there's bigger opportunities for growth, right? Because if we grow our own value while they are down, in other words, making what we have more valuable while they're down, it becomes exponential growth when those go back up. Okay, does that make sense? If we stay the same, when they go back up, we go with the same percentage. But if we double our own value while they're down, when they go back up, we go up exponentially, right? It's just math. I'll explain it. I think the last time I did this one, talked on that, I even brought in some charts and stuff to show you how that works. So I will hit some of that. We're going to revisit just understanding how this all works, okay? So that's going to be the next 4 weeks. If you have other suggestions, throw it out to me. I'm sure I'll get some tangents. I'm sure I'll try to record them all from poolside in Orlando this next week. But that's it, Poodle fam. Don't freak out. Don't worry that you haven't really lost. Who was it that put it on the Telegram? You didn't really lose a year's worth of MATIC unless you were planning on selling it. If you were planning on selling it, then you did. If you had no intention of selling it, you didn't lose anything. Remember, you can only lose if you sell. If you sell below what you bought. If you were planning on holding it, it doesn't matter. You didn't lose anything. What you did do is you gained an opportunity to buy more at this moment and at this price and see more added profits later. So that's it, everybody. Episode 106. That's cray. Love you, Poodle fam. You have an incredible week. I'll see you on the flip side. See you online. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.